Hi, everyone. What if one of the world's most powerful alliances isn't built on trust but on fear? Today, we uncover the fragile partnership between Russia and China, a relationship that could reshape the world as we know it. I kindly ask you to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It would truly help me grow and keep creating more content for you. Thank you so much for your support. In the 17th century, Russia expanded eastward across Siberia. This expansion brought the Russian Empire into contact with the Qing dynasty. The Qing dynasty controlled territories bordering Siberia. These encounters led to initial territorial disputes. Diplomatic engagements began to address these border issues. The Treaty of Nerchinsk was signed in 1689. It was the first formal agreement between Russia and China. The treaty aimed to reduce tensions on the Amur River. It established a boundary between the Russian and Chinese empires. The Treaty of Kyoto was signed in 1727. It established a framework for limited trade between Russia and China. Russian furs were a primary export to China under the treaty. Chinese tea was a key import for Russia. The treaty aimed to create a fragile economic balance. This balance was maintained through the exchange of goods. In the mid-1800s, China was weakened by internal rebellions. Western imperialism further destabilized China. Russia exploited China's vulnerability during this period. This exploitation occurred through a series of unequal treaties. These treaties significantly disadvantaged China. Between 1858 and 1860, Russia expanded into the Far East through territorial annexation. Key to this expansion were treaties imposed on China. The Treaty of Aigun, 1858, marked a significant transfer of land. The Peking Convention, 1860, further solidified Russia's territorial gains. These annexations granted Russia access to the Pacific coast. This expansion occurred at the expense of Chinese territory. In the 19th century, China suffered significant territorial losses. These losses deeply impacted China's national psyche. This period became known as China's Century of Humiliation. The term reflects a collective sense of national trauma. It fueled long-term resentment towards foreign powers. This historical context continues to influence modern Chinese nationalism. In 1949, Mao Zedong's Communist Revolution reshaped China's global alignment. The revolution led to a strong alliance between China and the Soviet Union. This alliance created a united communist front. The alliance was strategically positioned against the West. This alignment occurred during the height of the Cold War tensions. The Sino-Soviet alliance significantly impacted global geopolitics. In the 1960 seconds, major ideological differences emerged. Power struggles intensified between communist giants. These factors caused a significant rift. The relationship became strained. Open conflict eventually arose. This marked a period of intense division. In 1969, an armed conflict took place on the Ushuri River. The conflict centered around Damansky Island. This event marked a real war between communist states. The clash highlighted ideological and territorial disputes. In 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed, marking a pivotal moment in global politics. Russia, emerging from the USSR, aimed to redefine its international relations. China, undergoing reforms, also sought to establish new partnerships. Both nations pursued pragmatic cooperation as the foundation for their renewed relationship. The Treaty of Good Neighborliness was established in 2001. It primarily aimed to resolve existing border disputes. The treaty marked the beginning of a new cooperative partnership. This partnership significantly shaped their relationship. The effects of the treaty are still evident today. The Russia-China partnership is built on a shared goal: challenging Western dominance. This challenge is primarily directed at the United States and NATO's influence. Both nations advocate for a shift towards a multipolar world order. This multipolar vision seeks to redistribute global power away from Western nations. Their cooperation is a strategic alignment against perceived Western hegemony. The governments share opposition to a Western-dominated world order. Both governments currently exhibit similar rhetorical strategies. Both emphasize national sovereignty in their public statements. They advocate for a global order not dictated by Western norms. This shared stance creates a notable ideological alignment. Following the Ukraine invasion in 2022, Russia's energy export dynamics shifted significantly. China emerged as a critical energy market for Russia amid geopolitical changes. Russia increased gas exports to China via the Power of Siberia pipeline. These exports reached record volumes, highlighting China's role as a key energy lifeline. Following 2022, global oil import dynamics experienced significant shifts. One notable change was the surge in oil imports from Russia to China. China began purchasing Russian crude oil at discounted prices. This arrangement provided crucial economic support to Russia. This support occurred amidst widespread Western sanctions against Russia. The discounted oil purchases effectively created an energy lifeline for Russia. Russia and China exhibit mutual dependence in the energy sector. Russia's economic stability is significantly supported by China. China's demand for energy resources is partially met by Russia. This relationship helps China maintain a balanced energy portfolio. The energy trade strengthens the economic ties between the two nations. This dynamic creates a strategic alliance in global energy markets. In 2023, trade between Russia and China achieved a new record. The total trade volume reached an unprecedented $240 billion. This figure highlights the increasing economic interdependence. It signifies strengthening ties between the two nations. The increased trade reflects evolving geopolitical dynamics. This economic partnership has significant global implications. The current trade structure between Russia and China is asymmetrical. Russia's primary exports consist of raw materials. China mainly exports finished goods to Russia. These finished goods include electronics. China also exports machinery to Russia. Russia's economy is becoming increasingly dependent on China. This dependency reflects a growing economic imbalance. China has the potential to diversify its economic resources. Russia's alternatives are more limited, increasing reliance on China. Russia and China are increasing military cooperation. Joint exercises demonstrate coordinated military capabilities. Joint patrols occur in the Pacific region. High-profile bomber flights take place over the Sea of Japan. These activities showcase military coordination. These actions indicate a growing strategic alliance. Russia and China maintain military cooperation without a formal alliance. Despite collaboration, their military systems remain independent. Logistics networks are separately managed by each country. Military doctrines also differ, reflecting distinct strategic approaches. Reports indicate increased military cooperation between Russia and China. Russia is providing training to Chinese airborne units. This training enhances China's capabilities in airborne operations. Russia is also supplying China with amphibious vehicles. These vehicles could be utilized in operations related to Taiwan. Historical mistrust lingers despite displays of unity. This mistrust stems from historical events and grievances. Chinese nationalists remember the loss of Manchuria. Lingering resentment remains regarding the Russian Far East. Russian elites see themselves as heirs to a major Eurasian empire. This perception influences their strategic decision-making processes. They may resist being seen as subordinate to Beijing. Historical mistrust and imperial legacy shape their calculations. Following the Soviet Union's collapse, Central Asia emerged as a geopolitical focal point. This region became a competitive arena for global powers seeking influence. Russia aimed to preserve its historical dominance in the area. China strategically pursued access to resources and trade routes. This competition reshaped the political and economic landscape of Central Asia. The region's strategic importance continues to attract international attention. Chinese investment in Central Asia is currently surpassing Russian influence. This shift indicates a change in the economic dynamics of the region. Countries like Kazakhstan are experiencing increased Chinese financial engagement. Uzbekistan is also seeing a significant rise in Chinese investment initiatives. This economic transition reflects China's growing regional power. The trend highlights a potential reshaping of Central Asian economies. China's growing economic influence in Central Asia is a concern for Moscow. This increasing dominance poses a challenge to Russia's regional strategy. Moscow views China's economic expansion as a form of slow-burning humiliation. The shift in economic power dynamics affects Russia's historical role. Central Asia is strategically important to both China and Russia. China's economic activities reshape the geopolitical landscape. China's GDP is substantially larger than Russia's. Specifically, China's GDP is nearly 10 times greater. This vast difference underscores a significant power imbalance. The GDP disparity reflects broader economic and strategic implications. China's power exceeds Russia's due to technological and manufacturing prowess. China's technological advancements significantly contribute to this power imbalance. Manufacturing capabilities in China further amplify its global influence. China's soft power initiatives enhance its international standing beyond Russia's reach. A shift in power dynamics is occurring within the Kremlin. This shift is breeding quiet resentment among key figures. The resentment stems from perceived unequal power distribution. This may lead to future tensions and strategic adjustments. Northern China is facing increasing water scarcity due to various environmental and economic factors. Siberia, in contrast, possesses some of the largest freshwater reserves on Earth. This geographical disparity creates a significant imbalance in resource availability. The water scarcity in northern China may intensify due to climate change and industrial growth. Siberia's abundant freshwater could become a crucial resource for the region. This situation has the potential to become a point of contention between the regions in the future. Chinese experts have suggested cross-border water projects. These projects involve utilizing water resources across international borders. The proposals have sparked concerns among Russian nationalists. The concerns relate to potential exploitation of Siberian resources. Climate change is accelerating globally, impacting resource availability. Water resources are becoming increasingly scarce due to climate change. This scarcity can lead to heightened competition and potential conflict. Russia and China share borders and rely on some of the same water sources. Decreasing water availability could strain the relationship between Russia and China. Water resource management may become a critical point of negotiation. In 2022, Russia initiated a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Russia anticipated strong diplomatic and strategic support from China. The expectation was a unified front against Western powers. This presumed alliance aimed to bolster Russia's position. The anticipated support was crucial for Russia's strategic calculations. These initial expectations shaped Russia's approach to the conflict. In 2022, Beijing adopted a stance of strategic neutrality regarding the Ukraine war. This approach involved refraining from condemning Moscow's actions. At the same time, Beijing avoided providing direct military aid to Russia. The aim was to prevent further escalation of the conflict. This position sought to balance relations without direct involvement. Strategic neutrality aimed to navigate complex geopolitical pressures. China has emerged as a crucial economic partner for Russia amid the Ukraine war. China's purchases of Russian oil and gas provide vital revenue to Russia. China supplies consumer goods to the Russian market, filling gaps left by departing companies. China provides Russia with essential microchips critical for various industries. This economic support from China helps sustain Russia's economy during the conflict. Beijing has adopted a politically distant approach to the Ukraine war. This stance reflects a balancing act between conflicting interests. One key aspect is the need to support Russia, a strategic partner. However, this support is tempered by the desire to avoid Western sanctions. Beijing also seeks to prevent destabilization along its northern border. Maintaining this balance is crucial for China's geopolitical strategy. Beijing is performing a balancing act regarding the Ukraine war. It seeks to maintain Russia's strength to counter Western influence. However, it also aims to prevent Russia from becoming overly powerful. This strategy reflects a calculated approach to international diplomacy. The most probable future involves ongoing cooperation between China and Russia. This cooperation occurs without the need for a formal alliance structure. China's role primarily involves purchasing energy resources. Russia's contribution is providing diplomatic backing. This support is strategically aimed at counteracting Western influence. Stable pragmatism suggests a continuation of current collaborative trends. In this scenario, cooperation exists between two countries. However, a fundamental lack of complete trust persists. Each country remains wary, even within the partnership. This caution shapes their approach to collaborative efforts. Heightened global tensions may foster deeper international alliances. These alliances could manifest through collaborative weapons programs. Shared logistics networks may also emerge from closer ties. A potential outcome is the formation of a Eurasian Defense Pact. This pact would represent a significant consolidation of defense capabilities. Deeper integration can significantly alter the global power dynamic. This integration fosters the creation of strong alliances. These alliances can become formidable forces on the world stage. The reshaping of power leads to new geopolitical landscapes. Such shifts impact international relations and strategic balances. A significantly weakened Russia could create a power vacuum in key regions. China may seek to expand its influence into Siberia and the Arctic. China might also extend its dominance in Central Asia. This expansion could lead to a gradual split between Russia and China. The potential split mirrors historical tensions, like the Sino-Soviet split. Moscow fears becoming a Chinese satellite state. This fear could trigger a strategic rivalry. The rivalry would alter the dynamics of the relationship. This scenario highlights potential geopolitical shifts. Tactical divorce refers to a temporary separation of interests. This divergence occurs when strategic priorities sharply conflict. A Chinese move on Taiwan could trigger such a separation. Another trigger could be a Russian attempt to re-engage with the West. These scenarios represent significant geopolitical shifts. Complete separation is improbable in the described future scenario. Mutual opposition to Western dominance is a key factor. This shared opposition fosters alignment between the parties. The alignment prevents total separation despite other differences. A Russia-China axis is forming a new global order. This axis challenges established Western institutions. Challenged institutions include the UN and IMF. The World Bank is also facing challenges. Alternative institutions collaborate to amplify their global impact. This cooperation reinforces entities like BRICS. It also strengthens the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Such alliances expand their collective influence. These actions reshape dynamics on the global stage. Influence is growing in Africa, Latin America, and the Middle East. These regions were historically dominated by Western powers. This expansion is reshaping geopolitical dynamics worldwide. The shift signifies a change in global power distribution. Increased military coordination globally elevates the risk of miscalculations. This risk is particularly acute in regions with heightened geopolitical tensions. Potential flashpoints include the Pacific and scenarios involving Taiwan. Incidents in these areas could rapidly escalate due to misinterpretations. Such escalations could lead to unintended and far-reaching consequences. Thank you for watching. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Tell us in the comments what surprised you the most in this video, or what you found the most fascinating. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Many more thrilling, shocking, and mind-blowing stories are coming soon.